Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the GSL-English Club. My name is Gideon, and today I am going to be teaching you how to have and hold a conversation in English. So by the end of this video, you are going to feel ready and confident to speak to anyone in any situation in English. But before we start, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications, and if you can, like and leave a little comment below. So all of the information that we are going to go through today can be found in my ebook. If you would like me to send it to you, please just let me know in the comments and I'll send you a copy. But I wanted to start by asking you this question. Now, if you have a notepad and pen or any way of taking notes, I encourage you to write down an answer. But if not, just think to yourself, why did you decide to learn English? Now, we all have different answers to that question, don't we? But whatever our answer is, it always in some way involves speaking. Speaking is the key to meeting new people, traveling the world, and dramatically or noticeably improving our English. But the problem is, at school, we are very often taught grammar, vocabulary, reading, and writing, which of course they are very important. We do need to learn those things. But we are rarely taught how to converse. We are rarely taught how to have and hold a conversation. And when we think about it, the primary or the most important reason why we learn a language is often neglected. So that's the reason that we're going to go through this video today, to help us all develop the skills to have a conversation in English anywhere in the world, and also in any situation. There are three primary keys I believe are essential to developing not only the skills, but the confidence to speak to anyone. So in this video, we're going to go through the mindsets we need to talk to anyone, because a lot of it starts in our mind. I'm going to offer you practical suggestions on how you can have a conversation. And also we are going to go through some exercises to practice at the end of the video. So keep watching, and by the end of it, you're going to feel confident and ready. We all have the ability to have and hold a conversation. We just have to unlock it. And you can see on the screen the stupid little picture of myself encouraging you to think that. Okay, so the 3 points we are going to go through. Number 1, get over the fear. 2, we're going to look at 5 questions to hold any conversation. And thirdly, we are going to look at listening. Not speaking can help us to speak. Okay, number 1, get over the fear. To start, I would like you to write down your answer or think about your answer to 2 questions. When did you last have a conversation in English? Think back. When did you last have a conversation in English? Was it yesterday, last week, last month? Think about it. How did you feel before, during, and after that conversation? Maybe we felt nervous. Maybe we felt scared. Maybe we came away thinking, oh, I made so many mistakes. Well, to improve in anything, practice is essential. For example, if we want to gain muscle, we can read as much as we want about lifting weights, what to eat, but we won't see any improvements until we actually get to the gym and start lifting weights. We have to gain the confidence to not worry about what people think. We just have to get to the gym, walk through those doors, and start doing it. Start exercising. It's the same when we are speaking in English. We have to just get out and do it. and not worry about what people think. You might say, well, that's easier said than done. Maybe we are naturally a nervous person, or perhaps we aren't nervous. We just really, we just don't know what to say. Either way, I want you to stop thinking so much. You might say, well, how does that work? We have to think. I'm speaking a second or a third language here. Well, the answer to that is don't overthink. There is a big difference between thinking and overthinking. We will make mistakes and we won't always reply in the perfect way. I am a native English speaker. I often make mistakes. It's not a problem. It's going to happen. When we overthink about making mistakes, we are stopping our natural response. And speaking naturally is essential to fluency and conversation. And when we think about it, speaking naturally does not mean perfection. It just means that we let our individual personalities come out. Because we all have different personalities, don't we? That is what makes us human. And that is what makes humans amazing. We all naturally have different responses, different replies, different questions, different facial expressions even. Let them come out. Don't overthink. Focus on just speaking naturally. And think about this question. What's the worst case scenario? What is the worst thing that can happen when we have a conversation in English? Maybe you make a mistake, say the wrong word, don't know what to say. When we think about all of the possible terrible situations that could happen if we speak in English, are they really that bad? They're not really that bad at all. The worst case scenario isn't really something to worry about. Okay, maybe we say the wrong word. We aren't as fluent as we know we can be. Or perhaps we can't think of a question quickly and there's a bit of an awkward pause. Is it really that bad? Maybe we do make a mistake. But as a note, if the person you are talking to makes you aware of all of your mistakes and makes you feel stupid and comfortable, then 2 words, goodbye. We don't have time to focus on conversations like that. Move on to constructive and positive conversations. So, in summary, the more we speak, the more we improve. But don't let fear get in the way. Stop overthinking and just let your natural personality come out. What is the worst that can happen? And don't waste your time with negative conversations. So now we've got that out of the way and we have no fear at all. Let's look at 5 questions that we can use to keep any conversation going. So 5 questions to hold any conversation. Let's first understand, what do we mean by hold a conversation? I'd like you to imagine that I hand you a ball. What would you do? Maybe you just hold the ball. Maybe you throw it back. Maybe you throw it to yourself. But no matter what, because you are holding that ball, you are in control. You can hold it for as long as you want. You can let go whenever you want. But the idea of holding the ball is that you have control of what happens to that ball. This is what we mean by talking, when we talk about holding a conversation. We are having control, not of the person we are talking to, but we have control of our contribution to that conversation. But the biggest difficulty to holding a conversation can be knowing what to say, particularly when we don't know the person or we are in unfamiliar territory. So what I would like you to do is I'd like you to imagine that we are going to have a conversation right now. I want you to think of 5 questions you could ask me. Maybe pause the video. Think about 5 questions you could ask me. Okay, how many of those questions had the following words in? How, what, where, why, and when? How many of your questions had those words in? Well, the reality is, these 5 questions, how, what, where, why, and when, are the key to having and holding a conversation with anyone. But why? You might be thinking, well, these questions are far too simple. How do they help? It's the simplicity of them that makes them so effective. Often, once again, the reason we don't speak is because we are overthinking. Well, these 5 questions take that fear away. All we have to do is think about them as 5 questions. They can be used when talking about absolutely any topic to any person we meet. For example, as an exercise, here are 3 random statements. I went to university in London. I love to travel. I don't like my job. 3 completely random and different statements. Using those 5 key questions, how could we respond to these statements with a question to keep and hold a conversation? Well, let's take the first one. I went to university in London. We could ask, what did you study? How long were you studying there? Where in London did you stay? I love to travel. Where did you last travel to? What country would you love to visit? When did you last travel? I don't like my job. Why don't you like your job? Where do you work? How long have you been doing it? You see that 5 completely different topics, but we've got conversation using those 5 questions. So here is an exercise for you. I'm going to give you some information about myself. Okay. I want you to think of 5 or 3 or 5 questions that you could ask me about the following information. Okay, here it is, with a little picture of me there again. I don't know why I put them in the book. Okay, here is the statement. I absolutely love music. I have been playing the drums for 15 years. Okay, I absolutely love music. I've been playing the drums for 15 years. What questions could you ask me? Again, maybe pause the video here and see what you come up with. Well, here are some questions you could ask. Why did you choose to play the drums? What music do you like? When did you start to love music? How many instruments can you play? You've got 4 questions there that really can keep a conversation going for 5 to 10 minutes easily. So there we have it. Those 5 key questions will help you keep any conversation going. How, what, where, why, and when. So now you are ready to have a conversation with absolutely anybody in any situation. Okay, so the third point we are going to look at is to listen. So we know that we don't need to be scared now. We know what 5 questions to ask. But is that it? Is that all we need to do? Of course not. And this is really probably the most important part of any human interaction, and it is listening. It's not always as easy as it sounds. When we are thinking of what we're going to say next, when we're thinking of what 5 questions to use, sometimes we realize that we're not listening to the answer at all. And one issue is that when it comes to listening, there are so many accents. People speak in different ways and different speeds. We're trying to keep up. Sometimes we find that we are 10 words behind. It can be quite difficult to understand what we are trying to say. What they are trying to say. If you find yourself in this situation, I want you to use the following technique. Listen out for key words and phrases. We are not always going to understand and pick up every word all the time. So try to listen out for key words and phrases that we can talk about. So I have an exercise for you. I'd like you to imagine that the text below is being said by a friend and at quite a fast speed. Which key words would you focus on? So I'm going to read it out loud at a fast speed. Try and find some key words. Hey, it's so good to see you. It's been such a long time. We have so much to catch up on. So I've started a new job. I'm working as a shop manager now. It's long hours, but the pay is good, which means I can finally save up for a deposit on a house. Fast speed there. Probably not going to get every word, but there's keywords. Did you pick up on any of those keywords? We have long time, new job, shop manager, buy a house. So with those keywords and phrases, we have some information that we can continue a conversation with. So listening is essential. We want to listen to the answer to the questions that we have asked. And if we don't understand every word, the focus should be on keywords that we continue to ask questions about. For example, we could say, so they've started a new job. Oh, what new job? I'm working as a shop manager. At what shop? Finally want to save up to buy a house. Where do you want to live? It's been such a long time. Yeah, why has it been such a long time? You understand that just picking up on these key points gives us something to talk about. And this is a great technique if you are looking at taking any English exam, IELTS or Cambridge. If you're coming up to the listening portion of that exam, try and focus or practice the technique of listening for key words. But one more important thing. If we don't understand enough, we can politely ask someone to repeat themselves. This is not a failure. It's completely normal, completely and perfectly acceptable. There is nothing wrong with saying to someone, could you please repeat that? Sorry, I didn't quite understand. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? So maybe we need to get into the habit of that as well. So, what do you think? Are you ready to have a conversation in English? I'm just going to give you some bonus tips here. Practice with as many people as you can, strangers, friends, family. Try to talk about topics that you're not so comfortable with, where you have to use new vocabulary, new questions. If you can't find someone to practice with, practice by yourself. The mirror can be your best friend. And if you do have friends and family that speak in English, have evenings or days or periods of time that you're only allowed to speak in English together. It can be quite a fun way of practicing and just enjoying the process. But in conclusion, to communicate with others, it really is an incredible thing. Don't let fear or lack of practice get in the way. Don't be worried about making mistakes. Talk to as many people as you can, meet new people, ask for help, whatever it is, just get talking. And don't forget, what are the 5 questions we can ask to have and hold any conversation? How, what, where, why, and when. So I hope that helps you guys. Let me know how you get on. This is the GSL English Club. My name is Gideon, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.